All right, it's Saturday, July the 25th. I always like to start off with the same introduction. These are testimonies that are sent in by Sean Stuller from Santa Rosa County Jail. This one comes in from Anthony Dudley. I try to match up the picture in the Santa Rosa County Jail website with the name. It's always possible that there's someone named something very similar and I picked the wrong picture. If that happens, I apologize. Also, Anthony, if you ever hear this and you want me to take it down, all you got to do is let me know and I will take it down. My understanding is these testimonies were sent in by Sean Stuller to be read publicly, and so that is what I'm doing. All right, here we go. The testimony of Anthony Dudley. My name is Anthony Dudley. I'm 25 years old. I have made mistakes in my life. When I was in middle school, I was following the wrong crowd, and this is where I started making the wrong choices. Every morning before I went to school, I was with my group of friends, and we would smoke and get high, and I admit it was fun. Then in 8th grade, I met a new person. He was cool, and I got to know him. Then one day we decided to skip school, so we did, and we went for a walk and saw a new house being built, and we went in and destroyed it. The next day is when police came to us, and we got into trouble, so we were booked, and I was put on probation. So throughout the summer, I got through in my community service, and it sucked. So I went out looking for new groups of friends, and I did. And high school came around, and I didn't like what I had become. So I was going through high school and met a person at lunch. This changed my life around. He invited me to church, and I went, and I loved it. Ever since then, I have been going to church and praying every day, morning and night. And it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. Then in 12th grade, class of 2009, I made another mistake. I saw an iPod laying around and I took it. The next day at school, I was listening to it and I got caught with it, and I went to jail again, and I went to jail again and hated myself for it, and I came home that day feeling so bad, and I went to church and prayed. So I went back to school and told the person I stole it from and said I was sorry, and we became friends. So a week went by, and I went to church and prayed. Let me pause this. Okay, the phone rang, and I had to answer it while I was reading the testimony of Anthony Dudley, so I'm going to pick up again where I left off. I hated myself for it, and I came home that day feeling so bad, and I went to church and prayed. So I went back to school and told the person I stole from, said I was sorry, and we became friends. So a week went by, and I went to church and prayed, and I was saved, and I felt good. So I did the rest of my school year and graduated. Wow, I prayed, and I was saved, and I felt good. So I did the rest of my school year and graduated. So after 1 month of being out of school, I went looking for a job and could not find one. So I had been looking. So I kept looking, and for 4 years I could not find one. So all I have ever been doing is going to church and praying and back home. That's all I did. Then I filled out an application to Waffle House, so my prayers have come true, and I worked there for 3 years and loved it. Then one day I met another group of people and changed without even knowing it. So one day I went out and bought a bottle of Crown and drunk it, and I didn't know what I did at all that night. And a couple of days later, cops showed up at my house and asked me questions. So they asked me if I had stole anything from my friend, and I told her no. So I started asking around, and later that day my friend contacted me and told me I sold him a TV and an Xbox a couple of nights ago. So I went there and bought all the stuff back and returned it to him. So I did the right thing, and now as of a week ago, the officer came back and I told the truth and was arrested. And I am now sitting in jail praying and crying every night. And my bond is at $4,000 and no one wants me out there. So this is what I get. So now as I just waiting on my court date, and I am happy there are other believers in here. And God has a purpose for everyone out there. You just have to pray about it, and He will listen and point you in the right direction. God bless you all, to all who read this. And that's Anthony Dudley's testimony from the Santa Rosa County Jail in Milton, Florida.